You're the very most fun I've ever found, and you're my friend. Hi, this is Cricket talking to ya. Have you ever been to a county fair? It's so much fun. There are all kinds of neat things to do, like pony rides and carnival games, and there's always lots of good things to eat and fun music to hear. And guess what? We're going to go to the county fair right now. We're going to the county fair. We'll see our friends and neighbors there. Come on, everybody, get along. Pack your picnic basket up. Bring the cat and bring the pup. Come on, everybody, get along. Yee-haw, it's a hoedown. And folks are coming from everywhere around. So come on down and bring a friend. You'll wish the fair would never end. Come on, everybody, get along. There'll be pies to eat and dancing feet and people to meet, and it'll be neat. Rides to ride and animals too, and a lot more things that we can do. Yee-haw, it's a hoedown. And folks are coming from everywhere around. So come on down and bring a friend. You'll wish the fair would never end. Come on, everybody, get along. Yee-haw! Last 4th of July, I stayed overnight at my grandparents' farm in the country. And guess what? I even got to invite my friends Patty Ann and Cindy Lou. My grandma picked us up after school, and then we all headed for the farm. On the way, we had the greatest time singing camp songs and playing games. And then when it got dark, we all fell asleep in the back of the car. But the next morning, my grandma woke us up bright and early. Rise and shine, she said. We've got a lot of work to do before the fair. So we all got dressed and went into the kitchen. And I bet you never smelled anything so good. What's cooking? I asked my grandma. Apple pie, she said, and chocolate cake, and homemade bread. How come? I said. Why, for the fair, said Grandma. My bread and cakes and pies win blue ribbons every year. Can we make something for the fair? I asked. Of course, said Grandma. I'll show you what to do. So we all put on aprons and washed our hands. Then Patty Ann mixed some sugar and eggs and milk in a big bowl, and Cindy Lou mixed in some flour. And I helped Grandma make some chocolate icing. And then I got to lick the spoon. And while we worked, we all sang the song. I bet you know it too. This is the way we bake a cake, bake a cake, bake a cake. This is the way we bake a cake for the county fair. Then Grandma put the cake in the oven, and I said, what's next? Next we bake some bread, she said. And this time, said Cindy Lou, I get to mix the milk and eggs. And butter and salt, said Grandma. Then I put in the yeast and water, and Patty Ann mixed in the flour. And then we all took turns kneading the dough. And guess what? We sang our song again. Why don't you sing along too? This is the way we bake some bread, bake some bread, bake some bread. This is the way we bake some bread for the county fair. Then before Grandma put the bread in the oven, she took the cake out, 'cause it was ready. Can we put the icing on now, said Patty Ann. Not yet, said Grandma. The cake has to cool down first. Then what next, I said. Next we bake the apple pie, said Grandma. Yay, we all said. And then we washed some apples, and Grandma helped us slice them. We rolled the apples in some sugar, and then put them in a pie crust. And while we cooked, guess what song we sang? This is the way we bake a pie, bake a pie, bake a pie. This is the way we bake a pie for the county fair. And by the time we finished, the cake was cool enough to ice. So we all took turns spreading on the chocolate and licking the bowl too. Then Grandma took the bread out of the oven and put in the pie. Did that kitchen smell good or what? Grandma, I said, when can we have a piece of chocolate cake? Not until the fair is over, said Grandma. Now, run along and get ready. So we all got washed and dressed for the fair. But when we got there, we had a problem. Only one person could enter each contest, and all of us had helped make everything. What shall we do, said Grandma. I know, I said. each of us will enter a different contest. Sure, said Cindy Lou. I'll enter the cake baking contest. And Patty Ann said, I'll enter the pie baking contest. And I'll enter the bread baking contest, I said. Wonderful, said Grandma, and that's exactly what we did. Well, we didn't win any blue ribbons, but something even better happened. The judges gave us back all our goodies, and we got to eat them. As long as we were having chocolate cake and apple pie, we decided to have a party. My grandma even started singing a song she knew. It was called Buffalo Gals, and I'll sing it for you right now. Why don't you dance along, just like we did? Listen to the song and do what it says. Buffalo gals, won't you step out tonight? Step out tonight, step out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you step out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Now get ready to jump as high as you can. Buffalo gals, they jump so high. They jump to the moon up in the sky. They jump with a leap, they jump with a bound. They jump while they are turning round. Buffalo gals, won't you step out tonight? Step out tonight, step out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you step out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Now you're gonna kick real high. Buffalo gals, they kick so high. They kick to the moon up in the sky. They kick with the leap, they kick with the bound. They kick while they are turning round. Buffalo gals, won't you step out tonight? Step out tonight, step out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you step out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? After we finished dancing, we went to look at all the neat farm animals. Cindy Lou even taught me a tongue twister about one of them, a goat. And I'll teach it to you now. Say the gruff gray goat 3 times. Do it as fast as you can, like this. The gruff gray goat, the gruff gray goat, the gruff gruff goat. I can't even do it. I guess I need to practice some more. Why don't you try it? Say the gruff gray goat 3 times as fast as you can. Go ahead. That's funny. Ask your friends if they can say it. Will they get mad at you or what? A lot of the kids who came to the county fair belong to the 4-H club. They race farm animals and show them for prizes. When we were at the fair, the judging was going along just great until one boy brought in his mule. That mule sat down right in front of the judges and wouldn't budge. Can you believe it? Later on, we made up a game about that stubborn old mule, and I'm going to teach it to you right now. I'll name some animals, and you walk like they do. But when I say the animal is a mule, you sit down right where you are and don't move. Then I'll name another animal, and you can start moving again. Remember, don't stop for any animal but a mule. Ready? The animal is a cat. Creep on your hands and knees like a cat. Now the animal is a mule. I hope you sat down. Hold still like a stubborn mule. Okay, now the animal is a duck. Go ahead, waddle like a duck, but not too long, because now the animal is a rooster. Keep moving, strut like a rooster, and flap your wings. The next animal is a mule. I hope you sat down. Now the next animal is a pony. Prance like a pony, lift your hooves up high. Now the animal is a monkey. Did I fool ya? Go ahead, bounce up and down like a monkey. Now the animal is a mule. That was fun. And now that you're sitting down, you are sitting down, aren't you? Why don't you just make yourself comfortable? Because I'm going to tell you a story about some more animals. Once there was a little collie dog named Kelly. Kelly lived with his best friend Skitters the kitty on a farm in a place called Winnever County. Kelly had lots of important jobs on the farm. He rounded up the sheep in the pasture, he herded the cows back home to the barn, and he even chased the goats away from Farmer Gray's garden. But the most important job Kelly had was guarding guarding the farm at night. All night long, he slept with one eye open and one ear cocked, because he never knew when a fox might rob the hen house, or when a deer might eat up the vegetable garden. Kelly loved all his jobs, except when it was time for the Whenever County Fair. Bye-bye, he'd say to the cows as they headed for the fair. So long, he'd say to the sheep as they lined up behind the cows. See you later, he'd say to the goats as Farmer Gray tied him to his wagon. Have a good time, he'd say to the horse as he pulled the wagon down the road. It's just you and me, kid, he'd say to Skitters when everybody was gone. And then one year, even Skitters got to go to the fair. Farmer Gray's little granddaughter was going to try to win a blue ribbon in the cat show. All alone, sighed Kelly as he watched his friend drive away in the wagon. So Kelly moped around the farm for a while, trying to think of something to do. He dug a hole in the farmyard and buried a bone in it. He chased a squirrel up one of the apple trees. And he barked at a crow who was sitting on the garden fence. But all this took about 15 minutes. And then Kelly was bored and lonely again. So he decided to take a trip to the Whenever County Fair too, just to see what all the fuss was about. Besides, there was nothing left to guard at the farm anyway. So Kelly wiggled under the farmyard gate and set off down the road towards the fair. Pretty soon he looked up, and he just couldn't believe his eyes. The fair, he said. I'm finally at the fair. There were bright lights everywhere, and bands were playing music, and there were rides to go on and games to play. But Kelly said to himself, I think I'll go find Skitters. Maybe I can watch her win a blue ribbon. So Kelly crept under a fence and headed down the midway. He smelled popcorn popping and hot dogs cooking. He smelled candied apples and cotton candy and apple banana pie. He stopped by a hamburger stand and a nice little boy gave him some of his lunch. Said Kelly. I think I'm going to like the fair. Then after lunch, Kelly left the midway and visited the sideshow. He watched magicians and acrobats. He snuck into the haunted house and barked at goblins and bats. And then finally he came to the cat show. And guess what? There was a dog show right next door. A dog show, thought Kelly. What a good idea. So he passed right by the cats, even though he saw Skitters sitting up on a table surrounded by people. He went into the tent where the dog show was. And then all of a sudden, the funniest thing happened. One of the dog show judges saw Kelly and said, Oh, look, everybody! Isn't this the most gorgeous collie you've ever seen? Kelly looked left, then right, then over his shoulder. But there was no other collie in sight. She must mean me, he said to himself, and he began to get a little nervous. Then all the other judges came over too, and they looked at him from head to toe. One of them even opened up Kelly's mouth and looked at his teeth. Kelly was getting ready to growl. Then the man said, What a healthy collie. Sweetest swallowed his growl and wagged his tail. And then something even funnier happened. All the judges put their heads together and said this and said that. And then they all raised their hands. And then the lady judge came over to Kelly and said, We hereby award this collie first prize. Well, was Kelly surprised or what? That meant he was the best dog in the whole show. The lady put a blue ribbon around Kelly's neck and then shook his paw. Then all the other judges patted him on the head. And then the dog show was over. Well, Kelly stayed at the fair for about another hour, but then it started to get dark. I bet everybody will be leaving soon, said Kelly to himself, so I better head on home. Then Kelly snuck back under the fence and took a shortcut, and was back at the farm in a half an hour. He put his blue ribbon away in his doghouse, and went to wait by the farmyard gate. Pretty soon, Farmer Gray and his granddaughter drove up in the farm truck, and out jumped Skitters. Hello, Kelly, old boy, said Farmer Gray. Did you have a good day guarding the farm? Kelly wagged his tail and jumped up and down like he was really glad to see them. And he was, too, especially Skitters. Hi, Kelly, said the kitty. Guess what? I won a blue ribbon today. Good for you, said Kelly. But he didn't tell his friends about his own blue ribbon. He just wagged his tail and smiled and said, I bet the fair was wonderful. Golly gee, are we having a good time at the county fair or what? If you want to dance and sing and visit some more animals, just turn my tape over. And remember, I'll be talking to ya. Yee-haw, everybody!